Let me just talk about a few things here. We talked about your weight on scale. The idea is we want to try to lose about 40 pounds, right?
Yes.
And when we start getting in great shape, we're going to try to reduce our core, strengthen our core, put a little bit of muscle on our entire body. Now, I got a couple of questions before we get started on the workout. Can you tell me what metabolism is?
Really don't know.
Well, in short, metabolism is your body's ability to break down fat and reduce calories. Do you know the best way to increase your metabolism?
Diet.
Diet is a good way, kind of eating right, but the best way to increase your metabolism, even more so than diet, is to build muscle, right? So any doctor in the entire world will tell you the best diet plan is to build muscle. Any doctor in the world that will tell you that you have a bad posture issue, or better yet, if you're getting to the point where you have back pain or anything else like that, or stomach pain, whatever the case may be, he's going to tell you to build muscle, strengthen your core. So what we're talking about is the amazing power of muscle. And this is the amazing power of muscle. So 1 pound of muscle is going to be able to burn 50 calories at rest, doing absolutely nothing at all. So in turn, this is how it works. We get a great idea, we get a great workout program here on the floor. We get to the point where we go home, we put our feet up at night, we read a book, we're doing absolutely nothing at all. We're still being able to burn calories, reduce fat. But you know, we're talking about this 40 pounds of fat that we're trying to lose moving forward. We're trying to get in great shape. So 1 pound of muscle is not going to be really ideal for what we want to do. Edison, this is what I envision for you. 10 pounds of muscle. Now I know what you're thinking. You don't want 10 pounds of muscle on one particular area. You don't want to be super bulky. I totally understand that. But if we were to put 10 pounds of muscle, a little bit here on your shoulders, a little bit more on your core, a little bit more on your legs, with more muscular consistency, you're going to be able to burn calories, reduce fat at a much more effective pace. 10 pounds of muscle, that amazing 10 pounds of muscle is going to be able to burn 500 calories daily. Now if you take that 10 pounds of muscle and multiply that 500 calories a day times 7, that's actually 3,500 calories a week. Now 3,500 calories may not seem like a lot, but the amazing thing about 3,500 calories when it comes to losing weight is you're going to be able to burn 1 pound of fat. That's pretty exciting, right? That's what we're trying to do, burn 40 pounds of body fat.
Yeah.
At one point, we got 1 pound of fat. Now, if we stuck with this program for 52 weeks out of the year, that 3,500 calories, or better yet, you multiply it times 52 weeks out of the year, that's 180,000 calories. But like we discussed before, we're not worried about calories. What we're talking about is body fat. So with 3,500 calories, we're being able to burn 1 pound of fat. We stick with an effective workout program for 52 weeks. 180,000 calories actually turns out to 2.5 pounds or more weekly while you're working out at the gym and at home doing absolutely nothing at all. That's the amazing power of muscle. With a higher metabolic rate, you're burning fat at a much more faster, effective pace while you're doing nothing. Who doesn't like a workout program where you can work out and still burn calories doing absolutely nothing at all, right? You would think it's hard work, which it is. But outside of the gym, you're still burning calories, reducing fat, doing the things that you like to do. Reading a book, watching TV, and relaxing. Now, we're talking about the amazing power of muscle. Edison, when it comes to an average workout, there's 3 key components to an effective workout program, right? Diet and exercise certainly go hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. Now, on an average day, considering we're talking about Edison, how many times a day would you say you see yourself eating in a day?
Maybe 2 to 3 times.
So 2 or 3 times is not bad, Edison. That's actually pretty good. But in order to be able to break down calories, reduce fat, you actually want to increase your meals on a regular basis. 3 times is good, but 3 to 5 times is even better. You want to have a breakfast, lunch, and a dinner. You want to have healthy snacks in between. So you said that you mentioned to me that you eat about 2 or 3 times a day. Now you don't have to be telling me everything that you eat, but honestly, Edison, when you're eating 2 or 3 times a day, what kind of foods are we eating?
Steak.
Okay, steak.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken.
And I eat a little meatloaf.
Okay, and meatloaf. So this is what's going on when we're talking about the things that we're eating. You want to stick with the chicken because that's a great source of protein, right? Protein is the facilitator of muscle growth. So the more times we're eating protein, A, it has very low fat content, but B, the best way to get in great shape, to build more muscle, is actually to eat a little bit more protein on a regular basis. So the more times we're eating protein, that's actually helping us facilitate that muscle growth so we can start getting in great shape.
Well, my sister told me once you fry it, to take the protein out the chicken. Is that true?
That is very true.
Okay.
At one point, you want to bake the chicken. Never do you want to fry it. And then at the same time, what are you frying it in? Are you cooking it in its own grease? Or are you adding Crisco? Or are you adding butter? What are you frying?
Crisco.
Exactly. So that being said, we already know that's not going to be the best way to go, right?
No.
So chicken, even steak sometimes, you can prepare steak in a better way as opposed to doing it on a grill or cooking it on stovetop. If you're going to cook steak, you want to do that on a grill. It's going to take all that fat out of there, but we're talking about good sources of protein. Steak would actually be a carbohydrate. Now carbohydrates can be beneficial for you, and they can also be the enemy. So if you had carbohydrates earlier on in the day, say for breakfast or lunch or a healthy snack in between, do you know what carbs are?
No.
Other than the steak you mentioned, carbs would be a potato, any kind
bread.
of pasta. Yeah, absolutely, breads, right. So if we're having these kind of meals throughout the day, earlier on in the day, we're actually fueling our bodies with carbohydrates so we have energy through the day. Now, if we eat anything like this later on at night, when we're a little bit less productive throughout the day, that's when those carbohydrates actually sit on our body and turn to fat. So carbohydrates aren't necessarily terrible for you. It's just a matter of when you're eating them and how often you're eating them. So moving forward, you want to keep your carbs low to a moderate amount, but you do need carbs. You don't want to do a carb-free diet because that's going to put you in an unhealthy body fat percentage. Remember we were talking about that earlier, anything less than 11%? We don't want that. Now we're talking about the 3 things that are going to help facilitate our muscle growth and a great nutrition plan and actually get us in shape. So protein, carbs, and vegetables are a key source of fiber as well as good sources of protein. So when you're buying lettuce at home, Edison, what kind of lettuce would you say do you normally buy?
Iceberg.
So iceberg is not the best thing to eat. Did you know iceberg is about 80% water?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you're going to buy lettuce, I know it's a little bit more expensive. Romaine lettuce is a little bit more expensive, but you're going to get that much more protein and fiber out of that particular lettuce than anything else that you would eat. Iceberg lettuce actually holds no nutritional value, where romaine lettuce adds a ton of nutritional value. And then when it comes to making salads and having green leafy lettuce or greens in general, green beans, broccoli, those are what you want to start eating because anything green equals fiber and protein that's good for me. That's what you want to start using moving forward. So you're going to have a great source of vegetables, great sources of protein. Proteins would be chicken, tuna. You like tuna?
Yes, love it.
Turkey, fish, right? Oatmeal.
Take a look at what.
How about eggs? You like eggs?
Yes.
Perfect. You can make eggs on a regular basis. So just because we think of eggs as a good breakfast source, we can actually remember those the 3 square meals we want to have in a day, and then the healthy snacks.
Yes.
Well, if you hard boil eggs, those are your healthy snacks right there. Or better yet, you want to have a healthy snack for lunch before you have your lunch? Have a turkey sandwich before you have your lunch. Depending on what your lunch is, it's a great source of energy. You're not going to eat as much as for lunch, but at that same time, when you do have lunch, it's okay to have your carbs. You just want to keep those limited to the earlier parts of the day instead of late at night. So that being said, you want to make sure that you take advantage of the good sources of protein, utilize the vegetables. And when you do make salads, Edison, you want to make them as colorful as possible. I got a question for you. When you walk into an Asian restaurant and you look at the food, you see how colorful that is?
Yes.
There's a reason why it's colorful. Have you ever looked at the body type of that particular type of restaurant? Usually pretty fit, right?
Yes.
And that's why, because they put a lot of vegetables on it. It's usually based on a brown rice or a white rice diet. And that being said, they don't really have a lot of excess body fat. That, Edison, my friend, is what we want to start using. But you don't want to just dictate based on vegetables. This is what we're going to start doing with our great sources of protein so we can add muscular consistency to our body and start getting in shape. Now that we talked about our diet, we're going to make some changes moving forward, right? So we can start to get in great shape.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, we definitely know diet and exercise go hand in hand. How important do you think cardio is?
Very important.
Well, cardio is very important for cardiovascular exercise, right? So cardio meaning heart. If you're going to do cardiovascular, it's going to make a great, strong heart. However, do you think cardiovascular is good for building weight, losing weight, and building muscle?
Yes.
Well, this is what happens. If you did nothing but cardio workouts for 3 or 4 times a week, all you're doing is breaking down your muscles. You're not letting them heal. And then at that same time, what do you think would happen with your body fat percentage if you did nothing else but cardio work, say 3 or 4 times a week?
It'll go down.
Well, you have a choice. It would go up, or it would go down, or it would stay the same. And in fact, what would happen, it would go up. So what we need to do is we need to change that. We want to start breaking down our muscles. So now when we're doing cardio, we're breaking down our muscles, reducing our fat, and then we're following up with a great exercise program. So as far as doing cardio to try to get in great shape, it's not a very effective tool. It's always about muscular consistency. Building muscles so we can start to reduce calories, burn fat at a much more effective pace, 2.5 pounds weekly, or even more depending on what our activity level is on a regular basis. Also with cardiovascular exercise, your body has a unique ability to be able to break down sugars, break down fats, but that does not even kick in until about 25 minutes of an extreme exercise program, which means you actually have to get your heart rate up, you have to start sweating before your body's ability to break down fats, reduce calories kicks in. So an average cardio workout is based on about a 40-minute program, right? That's what you said you normally do?
Yes.
So we're doing these 40-minute cardio programs. First half hour of any cardio program, you're just burning sugar. And that's not sugar that's taken 20, 30 years to build. That's just like yesterday's breakfast bar, maybe your cup of coffee this morning. You're breaking down that sugar. Now, we're trying to start to adapt what we've been doing over the past, 38 years, not what we're trying to do yesterday, right? So instead of just doing this particular cardio program, burning sugar, let's hit the floor first. Let's break down our muscles so we can start working with muscular consistency. After that 25 minutes, we're going to get a great cardiovascular program because now we're already at that level where we're starting to break down fats, reduce calories after we start to stress our muscle groups. Followed up by 10 to 15 minutes of a cardio program, that's the best workout plan that's out there. Also, when it comes to cardiovascular exercise, do you know how much wear and tear that is on the knees? If you ever look at a cross-country runner, you see the body types that we're talking about, very thin, and that's all they do. When it comes to people that have run for most of their life, my experience is they generally have knee issues, they're very unhealthy, they don't have good muscular consistency because all they're doing is breaking down their muscle, breaking down their muscle, breaking down their muscle, and breaking down their muscle. That's why they're generally super thin, and at that same time, that's why they have a lot of problems because they put all that pressure on their knees. When in fact, we can actually work out 3 times a week, try to target 2 different muscle groups 3 times a week, keep the knees out of it, at least that portion, and then when we get ready to get in great shape, we're that much more able-bodied because we haven't put so much pressure on our knees. On top of that, when it comes to doing cardio, do you know that you have to run at least 50 miles a week to burn 1 pound of fat? That's every day at the gym, running for at least an hour. I don't know about you, Edison, but I don't want to be in the gym 5-6 days a week. Do you want to be in the gym 5-6 days a week? Of course not. So let's try this. Let's try a 3-day work week or a 3-day program. Upper body, lower body, core body, whatever the case may be. You want to try to identify 2 muscle groups 3 times a week. Try to be easy on the knees, but more importantly, we'll put muscle on our entire body. Remember that muscular consistency we talked about earlier?
Yes.
That's what we want to start working on. So that being said, we want to start targeting weight training. So with weight training, you're going to be able to build some more muscles, right? With more muscles, you're going to increase your metabolic rate. With a higher metabolic rate, you're going to be able to burn fat and reduce calories at a much more effective, faster pace, right? That's what we want to do. Now, Edison, I got to tell you, there's a few things that you kind of want to be aware of when you're walking out of the gym. Do's versus don'ts. We're going to talk about the don'ts for a second. 1. Do you know what spot reduction is?
No.
Spot reduction is focusing on one particular part of the body. So we're talking about losing weight. This 40 pounds that we're trying to lose right here.
Yes.
Now, if we just focus on our core and nothing else, what's going to happen is we're going to draw our diagram on our page. Our 6-pack is going to get that much stronger. Everybody has a 6-pack, Edison. You have one, I have one, Brad has one, anybody in this gym has one. But if we're just training this particular part of the body and nothing else, the fat has nowhere to go. Have you ever seen those guys that walk around in the gym, they look like a bulldog, they got big, huge arms, big shoulders, and a huge gut in front of them?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're spot reduction. They're only training the top half of their body, trying to get in great shape, and they're strengthening the core, but the fat has nowhere else to go. So as they're strengthening their core, it's getting stronger, but their bellies are getting bigger. That's one thing you want to avoid, especially when we're trying to get muscular consistency and get in great shape for next season, right? That being said, we want to try to avoid spot reduction on a regular basis. Remember that 10 pounds of muscle we talked about earlier?
Yes.
That's what you want to do. A little bit on the shoulders, a little bit in the legs, a little bit in the biceps, triceps area. Now, instead of focusing on spot reduction, just trying to work the core, no matter what exercise we're going to do with muscular consistency, we're going to be able to burn calories, reduce fat. You can do an upper body workout, bicep curls and shoulder work. You know what other muscle groups you're working? Your core. Because we have that 10 pounds of muscular consistency, we're still burning calories, reducing fat, much more effective pace, even though we're not targeting our core. Now, there's another thing that you kind of want to stay away from. Circuit training. Do you know what circuit training is?
No.
Circuit training is picking 5 different exercises. I'm sure you've heard of it. P90X, Insanity Heat workouts. Buy my DVD for $19.
Oh, yeah.
Get you in great shape.
Yes.
You know, and for people that aren't familiar with gym exercise programs, it's going to be fantastic. You're going to feel that burn. You're going to feel sore, and it's going to be great for about 3 or 4 weeks. But here's the ironic thing that happens. We stick with a circuit training program for about 5 weeks. What's going on is our body's getting used to these movements, right? And as we're getting used to these movements, it's getting easier. But also what's going on is we start to compensate the movements.
Hold on a second.
Yourself, Brad, and it's going to include the WGM or sales counselor that's closing.
Okay.
I'm going to ask for
We start to compensate for these movements. So if we're doing a bicep curl and we start to get to the point where we start to learn the movements, then you're going to throw a little bit of shoulder in there, you're going to start twirling your hips, and the next thing you know, it's going to be an ineffective workout. But also what's going on, you can still do this workout with good posture and everything else, but once the body learns the movement, it's too late, Jack, because now our body has picked up a resistance to this exercise. Once that body learns the movement, it's time to change it up. So your average workout program is only good for about 3 or 4 weeks, and it's time to change up. We want to start using muscle confusion techniques versus muscle memory technique. Muscle memory is exactly what it sounds like. Your body learns the movements. You want to start hitting it with muscle confusion, so your body has no idea what's going on. That's the best way to get in shape. You want to stay away from circuit training for those very same reasons. You want to get results. You don't want to keep spinning your wheels at the gym, right?
Right.
Absolutely. So circuit training is not the most effective way to get in shape. How about this idea? Changing up the body part and not the program, right? So most people will come in 3 times a week. We identified that earlier. So you come in on Monday, you're going to do an upper body workout. Maybe come on Wednesday, do a different type of workout, and then on Friday, do a different body workout, right? You're going to take Tuesday and Thursday off, take the weekends off, come back in on Monday, and probably start doing that same exercise, right? Most people would, because it's always about just changing up the body parts. What they tend to forget is changing the angle, the exercise, and a ton of other things. So instead of coming in on Monday and doing this same old boring upper body workout, we're going to use a bench press as an example, right? So instead of coming in and doing the same old bench press that we've done for the last 6 weeks, we're going to change it up. Now we're going to do a dumbbell fly on the bench, and then we're going to do maybe an incline. And then instead of like going off on a tangent, we might do an upper body with a lower body workout. Did you know that if you did some squats in between your dumbbell presses, as well as your bench presses and a few other things, you can increase your testosterone and start getting a little bit more out of your bench press?
Oh, didn't
That's
know that.
fascinating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we want to do. We don't want to do that same boring exercise on Monday. We're going to come in with an X2 program. Now it's exciting, right? Then we're going to come in on Wednesday. We've targeted every muscle, upper body, working the lower body. We're going to come in on Wednesday and work nothing but core. Did you know legs and core are connected muscle groups?
No.
Okay, well now you do.
Mm-hmm.
But since we did legs a little bit on Monday with our squats before our bench, we're going to do some core. And we're going to do what's called an aerobic workout, right? We're going to use our a little bit of our lower body and try to strengthen our core. And then we're going to come in on Friday. Friday is leg day, generally. You never want to skip leg day. You know why? You don't want to walk around like the treetops, right? You want to build good muscular consistency, have a good body composition. That's the ideal body. Now, we're going to come in on Monday and say we've been doing nothing but, say, lunges for a couple of weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Now, instead of doing lunges, what we're going to do is glute bridge. You know what a glute bridge is?
No.
Okay, a glute bridge was where you lay flat on your back, you keep your heels on the ground, and you just lift your hips off the ground, and you leg extend it. This is a great workout, Edison, because it requires no weights. It's your own body. It's going to focus on your core. It's going to stress the muscle group, the hamstring, and the glutes. At the end of it, we stick with this program, say for about 40 minutes, 10 minutes included with cardio. That's a great program. We're going to come back next week, and we're going to do another upper body workout. But instead of doing a bench or an incline, we're going to maybe do a chest fly or a dumbbell raise. We can change it up a lot of different ways. Any program, we can change it up in 7 different ways. We change the level of intensity. We change the level of the weight that we're doing. the rep count, the angle. The professional, we might even do a nothing but a calisthenics workout. Those are the best workouts. Push-ups. When's the last time you did push-ups?
5 years ago.
Man, push-ups are great, Edison, because they fire every muscle in the body, from your calf to your neck. So if we got in the habit of lifting weights, and then we come back on a Monday and we're doing nothing but push-ups, you think your body's ready for it? You haven't done it in 5 years?
No.
Absolutely, and that's what we want to do. We want to change it up on a regular basis. Now, that being said, Edison, you're going to get your goals. And instead of getting to this point where we get to increase weight, lose weight, increase weight, lose weight, this, that, and the other thing, on a cardio program, what we're going to do is we're going to start with muscular consistency. We're going to take it from this point to this point with no drop off in between. And that's the goal. We don't want to get to the point where we stop and start, stop and start, start and stop. We want to start and go until we're finished and stay going. That's the ideal plan moving forward. Now, you're going to get that as long as you're following these two things, right? We're going to change our diet a little bit, right, Addison?
Yes.
Increase our little bit of protein. We're going to increase the amount of meals we eat. We're going to increase the amount of healthy snacks now that we know what those are. And then I need one other thing too, Addison, is some rest. You want to make sure that you get at least 7 hours of rest. Now, I know you're a dad and things kind of get haywire, so 7 hours of rest doesn't have to be every day, but it should be about 3 or 4 days a week, so you can give your body a chance to heal. I don't know if you know this, but rest is just as important as the exercise is concerned. That's when your body is actually rebuilding that muscle. You're breaking it out at the gym, right? And then you go home and you relax. You want to make sure you rest. You know how long you want to rest before you target that same muscle group again?
A day?
Between 48 to 72 hours. That's why we do these programs, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we change it up. We don't even come back to this program until a week has passed for an upper body program. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You ready for a fantastic workout?
Yes, I am.
Let's get it.
All right.